Before I begin today, it might be useful to know something personal about me, which is that before I create any video or recording, I'm very nervous. I'm frightened, actually. And I don't know what I'm going to say. I may know something about what I want to talk about. But in case I sound confident or self-assured, excuse me, you should realize that the actual fact isn't like surface and I'm scared. What am I scared of? What is frightening me? I mean, I'm a relatively sophisticated guy. I've been around. I've lived in the wilderness and culture. I've read wildly. I'm a musician. I'm exposed, you know, I'm real. What am I so afraid of? I was thinking this morning of a parable, and it's not a new one. It's as if there's a man and a woman on a giant throne, above us all, above life on earth, above meaning, above identity, what things are. And from this man and woman, who of course are metaphoric here, emerge endless proclamations about what is crucial, what is important, what is urgent, what should be frightening, what is good, what is wrong, what is human. And we are told, we are kind of, what's the right word? We are all influenced by these proclamations, whether or not we agree with them. And there's a peculiar relationship between our species and the concept of authority that we're not looking at. And we need to look very closely at this together for a long time. We respond as though an extrinsic authority is absolutely necessary, and there's a reason why we're doing that. There's something about our species that is highly oriented toward the perception, projection, reception, simulation, adulation of authority. So much so that almost anyone can be hypnotized just by relating with various kinds of authority and ersatz authorities, things they look up to. Now, the weird thing about the man and the woman in our model is that they are not real. And their proclamations are fictions. They're ideas. And these proclamations comprise our language, our basis of knowledge. They comprise our relationship, our intelligible relationship with identity, what things are, with meaning. And it's really difficult to understand for someone who's never been free of these proclamations, even for a moment, that reality is nothing like them, our humanity is nothing like them. And some of us sort of detect this fact and kind of stand around with the rabble, yelling up toward the fictional authorities that stand over every moment of our lives, every aspect of our lives, every moment of our minds, every moment of each other, every moment of the world, every moment of experience, thought. These godlike figures dominate and tyrannically tell us what to see, what we should become, what is normal, what is good, true, human, alive, intelligent, etc., when every single one of their proclamations is fake, because it's not forged from intelligence, it's not forged from authenticity, it's not forged from mutuality, it's not forged for purposes any of us would trust, ever, even one time. And this is where things get interesting, because these standing authorities, these sort of godlike figures that exist in every domain of our lives and thought and hearts, projecting, a tyrannical structure that often becomes more inescapable the more adept we become with language, knowledge, ideas, strangely. As if the structure itself evinces this principle, the structure of what I'll call representational knowledge. But there's a linchpin here, and the linchpin is purpose. The godlike authorities in our model represent the standing bodies of mutuality and purpose, but they're counterfeit. We've got fake ones, and it's been this way for thousands of years. It's as if we, in not knowing how to assemble together true purposes, to assemble together for true purposes, to discover those purposes and correct them and refine them and make them beautiful and human and alive and natural, organic. In the absence of this necessity and fascination, we sort of helplessly, these domineering gods emerge in the absence of our active seeking of unity, mutuality, true relation with nature, knowledge, intelligence, each other, humanity. And so in every case, the they that we might think of, like, they do this, they conspire, they made the war, they wiped us out, they killed those people. The they is always the standing body of the absence of a true and mutual we. And that fills up with human bodies that become the vehicle of the inaction of all these fictional theys, and our lives and world and minds are being destroyed by this, just as they have always been. This is not progress. We have to be able to rise together above our representations and look down upon them. We need to overstand the ideals and their sources that we've too long stood beneath. And we need to be able to see into the processes whereby we are blinded by and deprived and destroyed by the very aspects of our potential that we imagine to be our greatest powers, hopes, dreams. Somehow our species has become fundamentally confused, and inescapably so that we endlessly place these domineering authorities above the basis of our unity, our humanity, our intelligence together. And as we can learn to see into this process, just as we began to as children, we can do something else. Because it will never do to stand yelling up, to stand beneath these authorities, yelling up in criticism as if, as if they were affected by that. In fact, that usually merely strengthens the situation. The only obvious option is to establish something together, to walk together beyond them, above them, and establish something human, true, heuristic, right, self-educating, and intelligent. A place from which we can explore and be protected from this. When we forge true purposes and then come together for these purposes, then we have the opportunity to experience something resembling the true nature of our humanity. When we're doing something else, inevitably we're going to get something else, and unfortunately those something else's become very aggressively self-organizing in our cultures. People join them, become them, our minds become them. We produce them in technologies, and the absence of true relational activity on Earth in war and omnicidal relations with ecologies. These are the results of serving fictional authorities who stand either in the place, either in the place of gods, where gods once stood, or as the modern versions of what gods are, both. We need to stand above. We need to find a true place above the authorities that dominate, why we come together, the nature of our collective interests and rewards. We need to look very carefully into these matters in every facet of our lives, from the personal to the filial, our families, to our communities, and every form of collective that we have. All of them are founded almost purely on fictions. And where they're not founded on fictions, those fictions quickly intrude, co-opt, and transform them into organs of their, propagation and continuance. And let's see past the married gods that stand above our minds in language, knowledge, idea, culture, society, thought, media. Let's clear our eyes together and see again with the intelligence that lived in the promise of our childhood, and that still remains alive in the promise of our mutuality under the aegis of purposes true, noble, human, and intelligent.